There's one type of attack that leaves you sitting there with your head spinning, thinking, what just happened? Why am I defending myself for something I didn't even do? That's the narcissist's mirror attack. When someone doesn't just see reality through a warped lens, but actively dumps their own feelings, actions, and fears onto you, and makes you believe the problem is yours. Mirror attacks aren't some passive psychological reflection. They're an active strike. The narcissist takes their inner state, their impulses, mistakes, dark sides, and shoves it outward onto you. But instead of owning it, they accuse. They cross your boundaries, apply pressure, force their version of reality, and flip the roles. In the end, in that same scene, the real source of the problem and aggression is them, but you're the one forced to justify yourself. The goal is brutally practical. Offload responsibility, dump their shame and tension into you, make you apologize and grovel to cement their power. Whoever defends themselves is lower. Whoever accuses is on top. Let's break down some typical mirror attacks that narcissist partners face most often. First classic, accusations of lying. The phrases are instantly recognizable. You always lie. I can't talk to you. You twist everything. You're distorting facts again. Are you lying on purpose, or do you have memory issues? This comes from someone who constantly manipulates, gaslights, rewrites events to suit themselves, and knows exactly what they're doing. These accusations often hit right when the victim starts calling things by their real names. When you calmly recall actual events, point out contradictions, try to discuss what happened. For a narcissist, admitting their own lies and manipulations means facing massive inner shame. To avoid that shame, their psyche ejects it outward. What they do, they attribute to you. That's where the standard lines come from. That didn't happen. You're imagining it. I never said that. You have memory problems. Second trend of recent years. Accusing you of being the abuser. Narcissists latch onto trendy terms. Abuse, narcissist, psychopath, toxic. They don't study the topic, don't analyze the violence dynamic, don't self-reflect. They don't need to. They just grab a buzzword from the internet and hurl it like a label. Once they declare you the abuser, the picture snaps into place. They're the victim. They're right. Their behavior is off limits. It gets especially absurd when you finally start setting boundaries. When you say, "No, you can't treat me like that. I don't agree. I'm not doing what you demand." Right then you might hear, "See what a toxic person you are. You're abusing me. You're acting like a narcissist." Any attempt to protect yourself gets labeled as violence from their worldview. Third type of mirror attack. Accusations of infidelity, betrayal, cheating. Many have experienced this to the point of absurdity. They see cheating where there's none and couldn't be. Any call, text, delay, new contact, excuse for a scene. The paradox? Real cheating, side relationships, dating sites, endless messaging often sit right with the accuser. They live double or triple lives, but spin it so you're the one who pushed them. You're suspicious. You must be cheating too. Someone lacking inner moral anchors, honesty, decency projects. That same view onto their partner. For them, the thought, "I'm unstable, I could betray," becomes, "Everyone is." Hence, total control. Phone checks, interrogations, jealousy fits, demands to account for every step. And the more you justify, the deeper you sink, because the goal isn't truth, it's keeping you in constant guilt and pressure. Fourth form looks like jokes, but hits hard. Jabs at age and unattractiveness. Direct lines. You're getting old. Who needs you at your age? At your age, it's too late to dream. Or humor. Time to think about retirement. Time to think about the graveyard. In reality, it's a mirror strike because aging terrifies the narcissist. Age for them equals loss of attractiveness, attention, supply. Their entire self-worth rests on the external shell: looks, youth, success, status. When they sense time has passed more than they'd like and attention isn't pouring in like before, anxiety, shame, vulnerability rise inside. Admitting that to themselves is impossible. Same mechanism kicks in. Fear gets projected onto you. So they start talking about your wrinkles, age, irrelevance. What they're really voicing is their own fear of becoming invisible and unwanted. Fifth mirror strike. Accusing you of madness and inadequacy. You're crazy. You have mental issues. You need treatment. These aren't just insults. They're extreme gaslighting. The goal: knock the ground out from under you, destroy trust in your own perception. Once someone doubts their sanity, controlling them gets much easier. Why is this also a mirror strike if the narcissist genuinely sees themselves as perfectly normal? That's the point. Mirror attacks don't require awareness. Narcissistic psyche has a fragile core self-esteem. Deep down, there's often shame, feelings of defectiveness, vulnerability. Over that sits the grand I. I'm the most rational, logical, right. Anything that doesn't fit gets expelled outward. When caught lying, contradicting, when their reality cracks, tension becomes unbearable. Psyche makes a quick move. If something's wrong, it's not me, it's whoever sees the flaws. That's how lines like, "You imagined it," "You're crazy," "You have head problems" are born. Put together, a mirror attack isn't about seeking truth. No one cares what actually happened. There's one task: preserve their sense of rightness and superiority at any cost. Dump inner shame, shift blame, flip roles, destabilize your grip on reality, force justification, maintain control. What can you do? First, learn to spot these moments. The second you catch yourself defending what you didn't do, explaining the obvious, proving facts that already existed, it's a signal. Ask, is this really about me, or am I shielding from someone else's mirror strike? Second, avoid endless explanations where possible. Where there's no interest in truth, facts just fuel more accusations. If you see these patterns regularly in a partner, it's not coincidence or a one-off flare. It's the system. The question shifts, not how to prove he's wrong, but what am I doing next to someone who builds their foundation by demolishing mine? If this breakdown helped, like the video, subscribe to stay in the loop, and share in comments which of these attacks you've heard most in your direction.